Welcome to Stirred Up. I'm Heather.
I'm Jessica.
Welcome to our podcast where business meets happy hour and we're serving up brand insights with bar rail banter.
We're two Midwest corporate pros who love dissecting popular brands, not just for their marketing genius or business moves,
but for their corporate integrity. Together, Jess and I dig into sustainability, leadership, and how brands are actually impacting the world we live in.
All while keeping it fun, relatable, and let's be honest, fueled by some Fireball too.
Woohoo! So whether we're clinking glasses to the brands who are doing it right,
or closing the book on the one that missed the mark,
we'll bring you the real, unfiltered takes on what the brands are doing that are shaping our world and the lives we live daily.
So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get this shit stirred up.
Yeah. Welcome
to Stirred Up.
I'm Heather.
I'm Jessica.
It's Friday.
We're jamming. Shall we start with our Fireball?
Fireball.
Cheers, bitches.
Cheers, bitches.
Matt said the Fireball's piss ass warm. If I would have taken an extra 15 steps or 25 steps, I probably could have gotten some from the freezer in the house, but told him it cleans your pipes out.
Cleans your pipes.
So, here we are. It's so impressive.
Ever since our bender.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Which we just released, and Heather could not finish the fire. Did you even take a sip?
I have not drank that much. And not when I say that much, not in a day, like in a collective 2 weeks. Maybe that's a lie. I'm not going to start being dishonest now. Not today.
But it was a lot.
But I have really cut back. I said that to Maddie. I'm like, I got to have a glass of water with the wine.
I had electrolytes before this.
Ever since I got a job, I can't start cracking one open at noon. Like every day's a lake day.
Every day's a lake day. That's how you recover from the partial right there.
Yeah, that's how I did recover from the partial. I just pretended every fucking day for about 9 months was a Saturday.
I mean, it doesn't suck.
I was thinking about that today. You and I generally like being happy.
Mm-hmm. I think
and positive.
We go way out of our way to
yes,
put down stuff that doesn't make us happy and seek out things that does.
We do.
Enneagram 7.
Why do you think that is?
I just think it's in our nature. I think it's
we
just
really
biological.
don't get right. Just in our nature. The older I get, the more my friends like, do you always have to be so fucking positive? And I'm like yes.
Also because I think I was even recently observing that some people go through so much of their lives with such actual pain and hardship. And it occurred to me, I was like, I really don't allow myself to even have a minuscule of real internal, I really don't allow it. I go, as soon as I start to feel really, really bad or anxiety, depression, I go real hard on the other side and get out of there in a day.
Get out of there. Because it can get real fucking slippery real fast. It's like catching sea rats.
Yeah,
if you don't catch them, they're going to erode your bank.
And I have a high physical pain tolerance, but not a high emotional pain tolerance. As soon as my emotional pain meter starts to tick, I'm like, we can't, we don't have time for that. We don't have room for that.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done enough work on myself to really say much more than that. But
yeah.
And I don't want to. That's painful. I told you. I went to the therapist 3 actual sessions in my life, 3 weeks in a row. And I thought it was going to feel freeing coming out of the session. It's not. It's so much heavier. Oh, I don't want that.
People were talking up at the partial, when they would leave, they would go home and sleep. From 5 to when we had to report the next morning at 8:30 or whatever.
It's so hard and exhausting.
So emotionally exhausting. Okay. Jessica just got a new $42,000 lawnmower today.
42,000.
1 inch bigger than the one she already had.
It's not me. It's Matt.
You know what? It sounded just like we had our own helipad. So
okay, we'll practice.
We're going with that. Good job, Maddie. We have to, but we're not. We cannot manifest a lawnmower. We're manifesting a helipad.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. But we can use the lawnmower noise to work on the manifestation
Listen.
of the helicopter or the jet.
Listen, Linda, at this rate, you guys, thank you for everyone who's watched us.
Oh my God. Should we tell
fucking
them?
pumped.
Should we tell
Our
them?
viewership is up 70% month over month.
Yeah. We've had record listeners every week for the past couple of weeks.
That's correct.
And then we will go in a week where we are down like 50 listens or like, kind of a big number. And it's sort of like for people who like weigh themselves and they're like, oh shit, I worked so fucking hard and I gained 2 pounds.
Yeah.
What? Listeners' data on a week by week basis can sometimes feel a little bit like a black hole. And on a monthly basis, but really on a quarterly basis, I take a big step back and we grew 100% in a quarter.
That's a big deal.
That's insane.
So, and
Surpassed our goal by a lot.
yeah. Like if we were accepting investors, I would start to say, give us some of your money. But Jessica is bound and determined to own our own enterprise because we do not want to work for the man.
I really don't want any
So shout out to our audience. We appreciate you. We've got some really fun things planned. Hopefully not just fun, but informative.
Welcome new listeners.
Welcome new listeners to the pod. We have people in. Also tell them. London.
Yeah. The
People.
most.
We have
people.
We have one person in Japan.
No, 22 listens, so it might be one person in all episodes, but
Amazing.
22. Yeah. I didn't look like that.
What about in China?
No, I don't remember. Their platforms might not be available. Like YouTube, I don't know, is accessible in China.
Oh, hey. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like really censored.
Other big news outside of the fact that we're getting a jet. And we are very grateful for our we have a lot of loyalists. We're very grateful for that. We wanted to build a community, so I feel like we're sticking by that value.
Yeah, the community was so upset that you didn't shout out to the people you know in Grand Rapids, let them know when you visited. Everyone's hollering on the...
So first of all, Jennifer, you twat, you were in Arizona. Not my cousin Jennifer, my friend from high school, Jennifer, who loves Arizona, who lived there since the minute we graduated from college until less than 5 years ago, or maybe a little more now. She was in Arizona. She lives in Grand Rapids.
Oh.
So, no, I didn't say hello. Also, shout out to all the men who talked about their toes, who take pride in their toes. For some of the ones who weren't so happy with me, us.
Were there people that were not happy?
I mean, I think we offended a couple of people.
Well,
we can't help the fact that we have, my husband got some weird shit up at the community center. I blamed him for that. You know what I'm saying?
We're just bringing the truth to the people. It's not our fault how you respond to it.
Facts don't have feelings and data doesn't fucking lie. And the facts are, if you got crusty dogs,
then gross. That's fucking gross, period.
It's not my problem that I observed it. And then send a PSA that either, and if you don't mind, well, here's the deal. I have a lot of time for people who are like, I don't give a fuck what that bitch thinks. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rock out with my cock out. I don't care what she thinks.
Okay.
But when you're infesting the pool, you're the kid who took a shit at Disney World in the pool.
Yeah.
But you're the adult man going down the water slide, just putting that bacteria down it. Don't message me and tell me that I don't have a heart. It's not my problem.
That's what we do here at The Spill. I'm sorry. We're going to offend some people. I feel a lot better about saying that after Matt Matthews brilliantly delivered that. I'm on the side of Matt Matthews. That's what we do here at The Spill. We're telling truths and airing our grievances.
And the hard part of it is when people are they tell me truths about myself that I don't necessarily love. And I'm like, whatever, I don't fucking care. Thanks for reaching out.
We'll save those for Patreon.
We'll put that in the bank of give a fucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got a couple fucks left to give.
Hold on, I moved it.
Oh, yeah, I like that a lot.
Maybe that's why we had so many viewers, because I said, if you want to see Jessica naked, tune in.
I heard it.
We need to get insurance.
We can't afford that.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Because that's the IKEA model.
Oh.
Shout out to my sister-in-law, Tay, my sister-in-law, Jen, my sister-in-law, Em, who are, well, Em's probably not a loyal listener because she's trying to raise 2 tiny humans and one who is woo.
Baby.
So my sister-in-law Tay's wanted us to do IKEA for a while. It's super interesting just from a founder perspective. They compared the founder to Henry Ford a lot.
Cool.
His ideals in terms of cost and people and innovation. But anyway, I want to talk about a couple other things. I want to talk about Easter Sunday at the Robinsons because I didn't really get a full I was here on Monday working my actual tits off for work. Mm-hmm. And we had a couple moments together.
Nice, fun little studio day.
Right. We had a couple moments together, but mostly we were working. Yeah. I got the high level. I know that Matt cooked 1 million chickens.
Yeah, so on Saturday.
Happened? Yeah, what happened? Anything? Did Pat come?
No.
Oy. Where'd he go?
I don't know. Like, to me, okay, so here's the thing. I didn't invite him. I see him often. So, like, here's my stance on Easter. I'm not religious. Easter, I respect the religiousness of it.
Yeah, I watched the last episode and you kept calling like what I would call faith magic.
That's really funny.
Mama Smith, Mama Rose, Papa Bajuri in heaven.
Crying a little bit.
The Pope, who I love with my whole soul.
Rest in peace. Pope, forgot his name already. I was going to say Pope John because that's who was the Pope when I was
Francis,
practicing. Francis? Yeah, a lot of respect. Totally. I apologize for all that I'm offending in this. I mean, just not my area of expertise, right? Like I don't practice.
I wish we could break down the cultural demographics. We got probably Filipino Catholics, we Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics,
a lot of people screaming
Baptists.
At me. That's okay. I'm here. I accept it. I understand. I'll take all the criticism.
I remember the first time you told me that you didn't believe in God. We can cut this.
So you can.
And I was like, I've never met anybody like you.
I know.
In my whole life.
When I was...
That I've actually liked so much.
Yeah.
Who has greater morals and values than most people who go to church.
Yeah. When I heard as a child what an atheist was, I was under the impression, or I don't know if I was flat out told this or not, but I was under the impression that meant you worship the devil. So there was only 2 options. You could be evil or you could believe in God and Jesus.
So you chose demon's path?
Well,
you little demon
I waited until I was like in college where I like really settled on it, and then I had Yeah, Easter for me.
Also, a lot of my friends are praying for you.
That's okay. I understand.
My mother-in-law's like, I'm praying for her. I'm like, we appreciate it.
Like honestly,
your answer should be thank you.
Yeah, I did. I said I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the Catholic habits do die hard a little bit when I was in my baby, no sleep, crying.
Yeah.
I remember laying in bed once.
Doing the rosary.
I did. I just like, I sat there like this and I was like, I just need to sleep. Please, God. If you exist, let me sleep tonight and I might reconsider. And I just like really fucking desperate. I did thought about it a couple of times.
I explain that to my kids all the time. God is not a magician.
And so then I'd have thoughts of like...
Bennett was literally like, I asked God to deliver a cat and he didn't. And I'm like, bro, it's not magic, you know?
So it's hard for me on Easter. Like I respect the fact that it is a very important holiday for people who practice. And for me, it is mostly just another Sunday where like...
You're planning a party.
Where I feel fortunate that we get together. Mm. But I don't feel like I need to be the organizer, except for the fact that like I do kind of have a bit of an insistence. Like I'm spending my time at home. I'm not leaving somewhere. So if you want to see me, you have to come over. But then we do have to organize. So there is a little bit of that going on. To me, it's just like... Do you
feel the same way on Christmas?
I feel more about Christmas it being... That's a really good question.
That's Jesus' birthday, bitch.
I know. But for me, it is a time where I do really like practice gratefulness. Like I allow that time... I realize it's hypocritical, but for me, like this is just a spring Sunday. Oh my God. I don't know. There's something about Christmas that is like...
I'm not judging you. I love you so much.
I know. But I don't know how to explain it. I haven't put out enough thought into it.
I feel like the Lord is working through me. So,
so the Easter when it came, here's my story about Easter though, I'll say. The Easter when it did come, it was Peyton's level 10, like lived her absolute best.
Collecting the eggs.
She woke me up. She always wakes me up in the morning. And she comes to the bed really quietly and she puts her elbow down on the bed and her hand on her chin on her hand. And she goes, Mom, Mom, the Easter bunny came. There's 2 eggs. That's all she saw. He came. There's 2 eggs.
She was thrilled.
Yeah, because maybe we do get really excited when the chickens lay only 2 eggs.
Oh,
like
good. Yeah, that makes sense. Good connectivity to a baby's brain.
But she was just like quiet and like nodding and not losing her mind, and I just could not believe that. But she couldn't chill for Clay to wake up. She could not wait. So she started picking up some eggs, and I'm like, you can't do that. Clay needs to be a part of it. And then as soon as he woke up, he couldn't give 2 shits. Like, he was still tired. He's still
no night.
Yeah, he just needs a whole hour to like suck his thumb and chill and wake up. So I was like, fine, Peyton, you can go get all the eggs. I don't care. Clay woke his ass up on the couch after an hour of watching cartoons and then was extremely upset that there was no eggs to be found. So I told him, I'm like, okay, I will go hide more eggs. Mommy's going to hide the eggs.
Jessica ruined the Easter bunny for a 2-year-old.
Well, that's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
But then what do you tell him? Like, oh, sorry, try again next year? Like, he made a choice. Like, I'm not going to, I don't know. I don't know. It was a very conflicting, like, decision in my mind.
Bunny doesn't like little boys.
So I hid 10 more eggs, and I told him, like, I'll hide these ones. The Easter bunny will come back with more eggs next year. Like, I don't know.
I love that. Good for you.
So I said, I'll hide these. And I did. And he only cared about 2 or 3 of them. And the rest of them, like, we discovered over the next 3 or 4 days and opened them up and ate the candy. And that had its own little treat to it. But my mom came over, Jim, Matt's dad came over. My brother came over for a little bit. And then we went to Matt's mom's family.
Okay. I'll take care of it. No problem. See you in a couple hours.
Are you going to tell us about the ducks?
My father wanted ducks. So he's using my 12-year-old as a tool to get them. My mother knows it, my husband knows it, and I know it. Okay.
Yeah.
So they go get ducks. They're now at our city residence.
Right.
It's fine. We're hostile for the ducks. They're going to be there for 8 to 10 weeks. They're going to go to the farm.
That's a long time.
Not really. Not if you put it in the context of like,
when my chickens were in their house for 5 weeks, I was like, I can't wait to get these babies outside. Could not wait.
I don't know. I don't know where they're doing. So anyway, my dad doesn't get them the appropriate, and he knows who I am. Right? Like, there are some things I'm willing to cut costs on, and there are some things I'm not.
Uh-huh.
Animal accommodations are not one of them.
That you're not willing to sacrifice.
I will not.
Yeah, because it's like the right of the animal kind of thing.
And like, why would I want to make my life harder or worry about the duck drowning in a big bowl of water when it should be like pecking out of a thing right now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can
like, why am I going to add like...
I didn't clean mine, but you can take them home, and that way I don't have to clean them, huh?
That motherfucker goes and gets ducks, which cost $7, and I'm going to make a $45 million investment in all the supplies.
Yeah.
My mother's going to fucking hear about it, and I'm getting a Venmo. I'm pissed. My poor fucking mother. Good. Mom, I love you. I see you, and I love you, and I'm sorry for Daddy. And I'm sorry that I'm a lot like him, but I promise you that I will never bring anything to your house without full funding of the fucking supplies.
Or at least all the tools. There's
fucking
a reason you should not have all the tools.
He literally sent Liv home with a box of ducks. I'm honestly getting upset. Itchy. Like.
I know.
So if you want to talk about counseling and why I'm so particular about my home.
Do you have a drink? Like, you're going to need one.
I'm getting hot. Now I'm going to go home and build a duck sanctuary. What pisses me off is that my dad knows that that's what Liv and I are going to say yes to. He knows what stresses Michael out. And instead of like getting all the things.
Yeah, he's just like dropping it off. For another problem.
It's like, it's like putting some baby on someone's front doorstep and not even telling us what kind of fucking tit it likes to suck. I mean, that's ridiculous. I've never heard of such a thing in my life.
Tee us up. Who are we calling? What's happening?
So we're calling my friend Heather. She's my oldest friend in the whole world. Actually, she's one of my youngest friends, but we go back since she moved in next door when we were in elementary school, and I spent, you name it, from fishing to quads to going to Tennessee to see her family to babies to weddings to nannying for my kids to encouraging her in her business endeavors to taking care of me as a kid. She's the toughest, baddest, craziest fucking bitch I know. She's so awesome. She has stage 2 breast cancer.
Okay.
She got her tits cut right the fuck off. She got them
after chemo.
No chemo. She has the Baccarat gene.
Oh,
We'll call her.
I didn't know what that meant.
Basically, like you basically get breast cancer if you have it. Like I'm oversimplifying and also overshooting the data, but like if you have it, you should get your tits cut off. And she's gonna look at her ovaries, and
it was a variable, as a factor as to the procedure
it's
that they
in
took.
there already. In her boob and in her nipple already. Stage 2 has not metastasized. Let's call her.
Yeah,
and then we'll tell her. Okay, I'm FaceTime. Oh boy, you're live on air. Is that okay? Okay, you're live. Okay, we'll take you off. So you look gorgeous, by the way.
4:30 this morning, so.
Look at her.
hi, you do look gorgeous.
Okay, so we talked about your boobs for a second. I'm going to get a mammogram on air, so you're going to come with me because I haven't done mine yet. But I want you to tell a little bit of your story if you have a minute.
Okay. I'm 39. I started mammograms at 37. My aunt died in 2020. In her 50s. She had the BRCA gene.
Baraka.
Yeah, Baraka.
The BRCA gene mutation. So I just kind of knew, like, in my gut that eventually I would have to deal with it. Like, it was going to be a when and not an if. So I requested mammograms at, like, I was 36 when I started.
Okay.
So this year I felt what I thought were, like, I described it to my doctor as nerds. Like, I was, like, on the bottom right of my breast, like, it felt like nerds.
Nerds?
So,
Oh my God.
Nerds.
Oh.
Not nerds.
Like
She's
candy.
fucking deaf. She thought you said, nerds? Nerds?
Nerd! Like, the
Yeah, because they're
I
lumps.
can't hear.
Asshole.
Asshole.
So when I was describing that to the doctor, she like legit laughed for like 5 minutes. And she's like, I've never heard anyone say that. I ended up having a biopsy. The biopsy came back and it was non-invasive. It's called DCIS, which is if you have to have breast cancer, the best breast cancer could have. So I ended up doing a double mastectomy, so I didn't have to deal with it again. And I found out today I don't have to have chemo, so super exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I feel like it's going to be like a long road. I have to do hormone therapy. I had everything completely cut off, and then I'm in the reconstructive process right now. So today was the second time I went to Ann Arbor to have things expanded. So I have expanders in. I have to go 4 or 5 times every week to have them expanded. And after about 3 months, once they're the size I want, after 3 months, I can have implants put in. So
That's exciting.
yeah, it still feels like surreal. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
How long ago did you feel the nerds in your boobies?
Probably October.
Oh, okay.
And it took me like a month to get in for a mammogram.
Like, that's crazy to me. A month sitting with cancer, like what you pretty sure to be. Oh, that's
Well,
crazy.
what's wild is I sat for 3 months knowing that I had cancer to get into surgery. Like, I found out
In stage
on
2,
New Year's-
like.
on New Year's night, I opened up my results at a friend's New Year's bash, and I opened up my results, and I read it, and I, like, cried in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And, of course, I had to go out and see my friends, and they were like, what's going on? I'm a white Irish girl, right? Like, everyone could tell I was crying.
Yeah.
She's red as
And
fuck.
I was I'm like, I'm at a New Year's party. I'm not gonna kill everyone's vibe. So I ended up like telling the host and my boyfriend, like, I have cancer, and I was like, I'm gonna take the night, and I'm just gonna enjoy myself, and then tomorrow I'll deal with this. So, and then from New Year's Day to my first surgery was March 19th. It was wild. So I sat there for 3 months, and I was like, I feel like a ticking time bomb because
Yeah.
you don't know if it's aggressive or if it's spreading or whatever, which if I knew now what I know, like, I would have never had a biopsy. I would have just said, like, test me for the BRCA gene, and then we'll do a double mastectomy. So
Oh.
That's a good learning. That's a good learning.
yes. because I truly believe the reason, like, I had one lymph node that had cancer cell fragments in it, and from my research, it says basically once you open that up, like, you're just basically spreading it everywhere. So I don't know.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. So, which I could have, like, in my mind, I should have just left it, like, did the mammograms and requested for the BRCA gene, but I ended up having an aggressive, fast-growing type. But I went the most aggressive route. Like, I wanted them completely gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good
Yeah.
thing I have a great personality because my tits are gone.
They're coming back.
Better than ever.
Better than ever. So you find this out, you call mom and dad?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I definitely called mom and dad, and, like, of course my dad is freaking out. Because if I have it, that means he has the gene mutation as well. And I was like, Dad, you're like almost 70, you're fine. But my cousin on my dad's side, they've tracked this for generations after they kind of figured it out, because the men in my dad's family were getting breast cancer as well.
Oh,
so this
wow.
is not just a woman's issue. Like,
Right.
men are getting breast cancer. And most of his
That's a really
cousins
good
were
point,
like,
Hev. That's a really good point. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there's still tissue there.
Oy.
It's wild. It's so wild. So, I, like, didn't even know. I was not aware of that. So, and my dad is 67, 68, I think. So all of his cousins, they got diagnosed in their early to mid 70s. So in my mind, I was like, you're fine, Dad. Like, no big deal. But so he has to be aware of that now too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So you grew up with a lot of faith. You grew up with a
Yeah.
mother who does the rosary at all times. I've also only
Yeah.
ever seen you cry a couple of times, and it's normally in the bathroom. And maybe if someone beat you, that's something.
Not very often.
Not very often. Like,
I would chew my arm off before I get lost.
I got one across from me. So you've always been pretty tough, yeah? What has been the most enlightening part, and what has been the hardest part?
I think the hardest part is, like, learning. Like, in my mind, this is God redirecting me, right? Like, I always go 100 miles an hour. I'm doing 800 things. I'm, like, pouring into my business, pouring into everything. So I kept saying, like, the only reason I think this has happened is God's, like, telling me that I needed to redirect and to slow down to, like, enjoy life. So slowing down has been super hard. Understanding that I have to rely on my people heavily, as opposed to, like, trying to do everything myself, because you've known me since I was 4. I'm hyper independent.
Yeah.
So letting people do stuff for me has been a struggle. But it also has been really nice, because I'm usually the one that's, like, doing stuff for people. So
To know that you're very loved.
yes. It literally has shown me, like, who my people are. Like,
Yeah.
So, but, and then so that was super hard. What was the other question? I don't remember.
What has been, like, I guess with the hard comes the good. So, like, what good has
Yeah.
come?
Oh gosh.
Can you even get, and if you can't say, I'm not there yet, bitch, because, like,
The good is, like, the hope, right? And then also I've had so many friends that are like, I got my mammogram because of you. And
That's why.
so, like, the awareness of it, like, you know, I didn't think at 39 I would have to deal with this. I was thinking I'm good till I'm 40s, mid 40s, 50s, whatever. But this is, and the group I joined was a breast cancer support group in the Tri-Cities area, and I joined, and in that same week, like, 60 other women in our area, like, joined.
Wow.
That we're having the same issue and diagnosed in, you know, sort of the same time period. So just being aware, and if you catch it early, there's so, like, I want to think of breast cancer, like, I still feel good, like, when people are like, how, yesterday, you're like,
Oh, I can't
He
hear.
has breast cancer, Mike. Like, I feel pretty good for going through what he did.
But you're also really fucking tough. Like, I don't ever remember. Like, your leg would fall off and you'd be like, put some Band-Aids on it. Okay.
I got this.
I got
I'm gonna
this.
finish my mile.
Okay, I got this. Okay, so the reason we wanted to have you on today is because, one, I love you dearly. Two is to create awareness, because I know who we are as humans. And so if more women out there, including myself, got to get it done. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Bye. All right, let's see if we need to wrap up the spill. Thanks to Hez.
Yeah,
Heather Renee, we appreciate you.
that was such a nice little.
She's badass.
It was nice. Nice.
Today she went and got her boobies filled up, and then she took her family to the Somerset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And she texted me today and was like, "What do you want from Lush?" I'm not kidding you.
Aw.
On the day. Shout out to the Walleye Festival. That's this weekend. Jess and I both
Oh, I do have a little teeny story of
Yay.
Walleye Festival. So I had lunch at the other side in Freeland, the bar.
Where's that?
It's the Riverside, and then the bar next to it's the other side. You've not been?
Never.
Incredible food. I had lunch there, and she's like, "Hey, come back for dinner. Bring the kids. It's kid night." She had the beer tent up for Walleye Fest, like in their patio area, a DJ, but like targeting kids 2 to 12, bubbles, glow sticks, ice cream. The robotics club came and served. All of it was free. Like all of that was free.
Stop.
And then we
Shout out to
ordered
Chris.
dinner. It was so good. Yeah. Shout out the other side in Freeland.
Shout out to the other side in Freeland.
It was just so cool. Like community building to its prime, right? These kids were volunteering.
Yeah.
They came to our table and, gave the kids bubbles. They had a bubble machine. The DJ was playing music.
What did the P and the C think?
Oh my God. Peyton was running wild, like living her absolute best. She's never experienced anything. She's in a club for her. Like, and she was just.
She went and hung out with the children at the Bird.
Yeah. She was just having an absolute blast. Clay was into it a little bit, but like, not so much.
So you always say Clay's like you, but I think only in your grouchiness in the morning. And I would even call you grouchy.
It can be.
You're not. Yeah.
I just don't want to be bothered. I have to slow wake up. I think there's like some things that are similar, but
she's ready for the party.
Yeah.
And then the after party, and then the parking lot party, and then the lobby party.
Yeah.
And then like the secret club party.
Right. And
Just like
me.
her mother.
Yeah, and that's me. Yeah. So, the kids are always a mix. But yeah, Clay was like, I'm going to go home. So, we didn't stay up too late. It was still daylight when we got home. It was not that big of a deal, but it was so cool. So,
shout out to the Walleye Fest. Shout out to
Walleye Fest. Garage sales were not as much as they were. I'll just, say that. We can step up our game next year and sell all your stuff. But I came out shopping.
2 more things. I didn't actually tell my sister-in-laws this on Easter Sunday. I don't think. We decided we were going to play wiffle ball with tennis balls.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
And the bats I use in Little League.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was on the West Town All-Star team.
Yeah. Like real bats.
Yeah, but like little girl
Kid bats.
All-Star bats from
Yeah.
1993.
Uh-huh.
Long story short, my daughter's never played softball before, ever. She's maybe practiced swinging a bat 2 or 3 times in her whole life. So the boys and I and Mike are dicking around in my parents' backyard on Easter Sunday morning. And the boys are, I'm catching, Mike's, whatever. And so Sis wants a turn. And, of course, nobody wants to play with her. They want to sit and tell her how to do it.
Uh-huh. That's not okay. You can't do that.
Nothing more infuriates me,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be honest.
Get up and go.
Get your fucking ass over here and show me how to do it. Don't sit there and tell me.
Also, that's probably what I would do, too. I'd sit there and tell people how to throw a ball.Eyton made me pray to get better at throwing a ball because I was so bad at it.
She's Gail's granddaughter, so there's that. Shout out to Gail. Shout out to the women at the fish fry. We already talked about that, didn't we? How your aunt wants to kill people.
She doesn't want to kill people.
She will if you fuck with her kids or
I do
her
think for
grandchildren.
She's a hoot.
She's a fucking boss. So, what was I talking about?
So you're throwing a ball at your daughter?
Yes.
to hit
So
on the back?
they're like, choke up, which nobody knows what that means.
Right.
She has
I don't
no
even know.
idea.
Why did that even
That's really fun. I have a
called
really
that?
funny story about communication. So my cousin Brian, who's not a listener, so fuck you, Brian, has been a baseball coach for a long time. He's really kind. He understands the game explicitly. And he had this, like, I don't know if he was a football player or a wrestler. Like, he wasn't a baseball player, but the kid could hit bombs.
Yeah.
And they were like in the Little League finals or something that was really important. And Brian, this whole season, had been telling him, like, whether it was choke up or turn and face.
Use words that make absolutely no
Whatever
sense.
the jargon was. Like, and I think about that, like, when I'm on the phone with my colleagues from Asia.
I think about it all the time.
All the time. When I say, like, I say so many things that other people, like, I actually have to work really hard to use real words.
Yeah, to be thoughtful about how you're expressing what you're trying to convey.
Yeah, it's humbling.
Yeah.
So choke up, choke up, choke up. And they were like in this final, and the kid finally, after playing for my cousin for like a year or 2 years, was like, I have no idea. What does that mean, coach? Like,
Also, what? Like,
choke up.
why is it
You
those
know, you
words?
fucking know. If you're holding the bat down here, you choke up and you fucking have to shorten it up. Okay. So anyway, what was I talking about?
Well, so everyone's yelling choke up to your daughter.
Oh yeah, all the directions, and she like does a couple like girly hits. And if you see me, it's like, because I know a lot of boys who can't hit a fucking ball either. But anyway, she does some ballerina spin, and I'm like, you're okay. She's not a narp like Jessica.
Normal,
Non-athletic regular person.
non-athletic regular person. Whatever. I run 20 miles this month.
I didn't say you weren't tough. That was never, ever, ever part of
just
my
a
judgment.
narp. Just a narp.
You told me you have no balance to walk up a ridge.
And we were checking for rats in the trap. Anyways.
I got sidetracked by the turtle. Very excited about that turtle.
Okay. Anyways, what happened? She took a swing.
She took a swing, and that bitch hit me a line drive right in my arthritis. Like, right in the part of my neck that literally there's like no more fluid left. Like, it's just like bone on bone crushing together. And I was so proud of how hard that bitch hit that ball. But also in a tremendous amount of pain, and I know how kind she is. So I like flopped down to the ground.
She probably thought she killed you.
And I started to laugh. And when I was laughing, and I had tears because my neck, I was like, my ear instantly got full. My neck got hot. My fingers started, like, she hit me right on a nerve that, like, I've worked 8 months to recover from. And all I hear is my fucking kids go, Mama got stirred up. And I stomped up the steps at my parents' house like I was 12 years old again, in the kitchen, and pouted and cried. And then couldn't figure out how to make my own coffee and boil it all over my mom's counter. I'm like, nobody understands how much I've been through. But it came in and hugged me, Reef hugged me. I was like, I'm so sorry. You guys always make fun of me. I'm not good enough. And then in that moment, I felt like my mother and my Auntie Jeannie all in one fucking afternoon.
Yeah, that's some stirred up.
Mama got stirred up. And then my own mother took a picture of me and showed it
on the
Jessica laying on the ground.
We can post that.
That's fine. I don't care.
My cheeks hurt.
Oh my God.
Like,
Mama got stirred up. Okay, let's switch to the realty.
all right, let's do that.
So, super interesting.
We're talking IKEA today.
We're talking IKEA, so shout out to my sister-in-law, Tay. She's wanted to do IKEA for a while. I had a bias that it perhaps wouldn't be a good story. It's a great story.
And you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
Okay.
Happy to be, actually, because I'm not quite sure. Do you have any IKEA items in your house?
Not in this current house. When I got my first apartment out of my parents' house, I somehow discovered IKEA. I don't know how. I've never been to the store. I've only actually ordered online. And this is like 2011. And so it would take like a month for things to get to me. And then I would be ordering, they would be like in these weird pieces because it was like a part of kits. Like it was, you could modularize things. I was very interested in the style, and I liked the kind of functionality that it gave me in a small apartment. So I was kind of obsessed with IKEA for a bit. But no, we do not have anything in our house at the moment that's IKEA.
The only thing that I have in my entire house that is IKEA is like a $1.99 plastic holder, almost like a Tupperware type-esque holder with a two-sided tape or the command strip on the back where you put your plastic bags.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I've been to IKEA stores probably 4 times. I've never bought any IKEA furniture. I have sat in IKEA furniture. I think their company and their business model after the research is incredible, but I've never...
It's cheap. It's cheap stuff, right? Like the quality is subpar.
Cost. It's quality and cost. And if you read the comments, if you get into Reddit, if you get into all that stuff, it basically is 90% of it, I think, is loyalists. And they know what is made well. So a lot of their wood is made from pine, and although it's maybe softer than like a maple, like it lasts, and then some things just completely fall the fuck apart. But generally they have some pretty like, I would say legacy product lines.
I think the product design is really smart.
Smart.
So even if the material is like not necessarily the highest of quality, they are pretty thoughtful in their design that makes it a good choice usually for the right person.
So I'm just going to call this out from the beginning. What I love the most about this is that it's a Swedish company and nobody can pronounce any of the fucking product names, and they actually make fun of it on YouTube, and they say the Swedes don't actually care. And if you know, you know. So I'm not even going to pretend to announce anything or pronounce anything appropriately, from the founder, owner, vision leader's name all the way down to like the couch. If the couch isn't called the Billy, I'm not here for it. I don't fucking know how to say it.
We're not going to try that hard today.
We're not going to try it. So IKEA is the #1 largest furniture company in the world.
Wow.
It's a Swedish company. It's an acronym for the owner's first, middle, and last name, married with the small town he was born in. So it was started by Ingvar Kamprad and has been the world's largest furniture since 2008, the largest retailer. I really tried to think hard about the value. So it's a Swedish company. The founder founded it when he was 17 years old. He had been selling stuff since he was 5. He was selling wallets.
Is he still alive?
He died when he was 91 years ago. Okay. Not many, but years. Yeah, enough. You know, not yesterday, but not 30 years ago either. I actually didn't look into the actual date, but he ran the company for 80 some fucking years.
That's so crazy.
And here's the deal. So I listened to the founder's podcast. So I think we could do a whole episode on the founder. I think this gentleman name, and this is where I couldn't actually nail the story for the first time in my research, because I think there's an incredible story in their sustainability, their demand creation, their like full funnel marketing.
Yeah.
And there's a very interesting story about their founder who's like Henry Ford-esque and his ideals and his whatever. So I listened. Is
that a part of the assembly in like a lot of the stuff you have to assemble?
The values still today. Yeah. And it's part of that. So and that was part of it. He was very frustrated with the fact that it was super expensive and added a ton of cost to the consumer to ship things.
Mm-hmm.
When it was shipping assembled? Damage.
Oh, okay.
When it was assembled. So what I'm saying is you're honing in on the value proposition around assemble your own furniture, and it's less cost, maybe more labor,
but
less
me
cost.
Crazy. Personally, for me, it's a problem.
But it's a trade-off you're willing to make, and go buy something assembled. Some people are not, and also are trying to learn a skill set.
Sure,
right?
And some people enjoy it, like Matt.
Enjoy it. There's a whole market around it. Whether or not me and you are their target audience, they're the largest furniture company in the whole fucking world.
Yeah, they don't need
somebody's target audience, right? But the problem to solve at the time was high cost of shipping full assembled items married with damage, right? When you compact so then they did problem to solve, which made me think of you. Yeah, we always have a problem to solve before we approach any sort of stage gate. Yeah, and so always the values the company lived by was cost at every expense, except for people. I don't see that when it comes to people. But what they mean by cost is cost to ship, cost to procure, cost to print. Literally, like full ownership of the price they're able to provide to the market, which speaks to their overall brand strategy, mission, vision, value, goals, which is to deliver furniture to as many people as possible. And the strategy in which to do that is very cost effective. Durability, yes, at some points is in question. You'll see articles about durability that are strong, and you'll see some that are not strong. But at the end of the day, they want to deliver as much furniture not as much furniture, but they want to be able to service as many people as possible.
Yep.
And they know the way to do that is to make it affordable.
Yep.
And so the premise of that, like extreme cost, they compare a lot in the book on the Founders podcast I listened to the Model T, to Henry Ford, to taking something that only the elite could enjoy, like a couch or a sofa or whatever, and how do we extend that so it is affordable, available and affordable and tangible to everyone.
Yeah. What's interesting about that is I compare the founding of the Dunkin' story, because he said we're not inventing new things. Everything that's going to be invented has already been done. Can you just do it a little bit better? And like one argument to that is, well, like how much are you going to be able to earn from that if you're only making like something that's already been done a little bit better? But to the scale of IKEA being like just a regular furniture store, the furniture has been done. They're not necessarily reinventing that wheel. They're just repackaging the wheel in a way that innovates the business model, actually, which is kind of interesting.
Very interesting. I was thinking that today. So I
To
got
a
Jess
huge
and
scale.
we talked about the Walleye Fest. I was super pumped because my mom had a Keurig. I don't know what happened. We had a Keurig. My mom had. Anyways, long story short, I wanted a Keurig for the studio. Matt laughed and said, "You guys even drink coffee in there?" It's hysterical. I'm like, I have a day job again, so yeah. But I was thinking about the Keurig a little bit in the context of reinventing the wheel. Coffee's been around since when?
100 million years.
I'm telling you
Like
what.
whatever.
I used to get super fucking ragey. Part of his role in our partnership is bringing me water at night and having the coffee ready in the morning. I gotta be hydrated. And there's nothing more raging than to wake up in the morning and not have a pot of coffee for me in my personal life.
And that's your morning. That's your morning grumpiness.
I don't have the time to do all of that work.
But it is also a thing that you need is the coffee.
Then they invented the Keurig, and I was too cheap of a bitch to buy one. Too cheap. For 20 years, I've never had a Keurig. Never. Well, our coffee pot that we had we've had 2 coffee pots since we got married. The first one was a bun. Shout out to the bun.
Oh yeah, those are classics.
Classic.
Might be a cool podcast story.
Classic. It's as classic as KitchenAid. Write that down. Bun and KitchenAid. And when you just take that little pot out of the drawer and you fucking, and by the time you take your morning pee, your first cup of coffee within
there and ready.
19 seconds of production and 12 seconds of effort is ready.
Life-changing for you.
It's 5 minutes of life change. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to do 3 minutes worth of steps and wait 8 minutes. So my point to your point is they didn't reinvent coffee.
Right. They just made the process slightly better for a category of
and
people like
so
you.
that is where, circling back around, the IKEA founder never wavered.
Yeah.
Cost and excellence were seen as opportunities, not negativity, positivity inside of that. And he constantly drove for objectives of affordability for the masses, cost, every expense, but not innovation,
Right.
not teamwork, not togetherness. And he has a whole big dissertation about just going to work for a paycheck and to have a job. He was basically like, if you're just telling me you come here for a paycheck, like, this is a third of your fucking life.
Yeah.
Anyways, he had a lot of entrepreneurial
Spirit,
values, mindset, processes, messages, and they all come down to working your fucking dick off, being very conscious of cost.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. No matter what. He didn't raise his kids. So then finding the balance, like Heather talks about, right? He didn't know his kids. He didn't spend any time with them. And he also was driven by revenge. Revenge on his father. Revenge on his great-grandmother. His grandmother was a matriarch of the family, and nobody had any choice but to work on the farm. And his great-grandfather or his dad shot him, killed himself. Like,
Trauma.
I would like to spend a little more time at some point in the founder's story.
Yeah.
Like the position you normally sometimes take versus the
business story.
or the brand
like,
story.
Yeah.
You always do a good job with the brand. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he
I know what I mean.
is so interesting in his ideals, and those ideals stick today. And what the founder's narrative was, and we can question the founder, because I think like if your strategy is available for everyone or for most or for many or as for many people as possible, then cost does have to be a driver that allows that objective to come into fruition.
So if you are making choices about sustainability in most modern day companies, it usually means you're sacrificing cost. Sustainability is not something that you can typically have as a low business expense. You're making a choice about being good for the people or the environment at a business expense, or you pass that along to your customers and it increases price. Do you know much about how they've been able to manage that if they are so cost oriented?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the deal. Like at first I thought it was a marketing tactic. But if you look at, all right, I'm going to take you through the roots.
Yeah.
I will circle to your question.
Okay.
They're doing it through a little bit of the artisan model.
Okay.
A little bit through it just is driven into the culture. Like we're going to run this homestead.
Yeah.
We're going to take care of everybody in this homestead for as efficient as possible.
Got it.
And that's going to be our culture. We're going to shut off the fucking lights. And we're going to finish the last drop of milk.
Yeah.
And we're not getting Easter candy until we ate the Halloween candy. Like, I
so
truly
there's a way to do it, and different sacrifices are made.
They make sacrifices. But he also believes that growth is the power to investment. So I'm going to go quick. So this guy named Ingvar Kamprad, whatever, he started IKEA in 1943 at the age of 17.
Okay.
Selling goods like pens and wallet in a small town in his home, Sweden.
Okay.
People in Sweden didn't have a lot of resources. So with what little they had, they did a lot with. And so that's always been the heart of IKEA, which I really think is interesting.
That's still the spirit today.
I feel like that's very much your spirit, and I'm learning that. We just it's $1 a unit, bitches, and we're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're getting scrappy here.
And that's simply the constraint. We just got to do with what we have.
And pride in that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're sacrificing your values.
Yeah.
But it means you're going to do less with more.
Yeah.
Ingvar's father gave him money, which he used to sell the company and starting furniture. And some of those furniture designs from way back then are still around today. As I mentioned, they call it the flat pack revolution. So in around like 1953, IKEA discovered the flat pack, which was self-assembly.
Okay.
Which is still a value proposition that the company lives from today. It first started from a real problem they were trying to solve with cost and damage. And I think today they've actually used it as a leader in their messaging around like do it yourself.
Okay. They've turned something that is just like a functional something we're just gonna have to accept this thing about how we do business and how we deliver our products, because that's the best way that we can achieve it, into something that people can be proud of and that they talk about proudly.
Well-fed, happy customers. So interesting to me. So he realized in the 60s, like in mid-year in the 60s, he realized that by the end of the year, he realized that people got tired and hungry at lunch. And they were leaving his stores.
To go eat.
And it was disrupting the buying journey.
Costco had a similar observation, didn't they? Like, that's why they put hot dogs in.
This fucker did first, okay?
Yes,
and so not only does he have the number one, he's dead now, but not only is it the number one selling furniture company in the entire world, it's the number 50 restaurant chain in the entire world.
That's outrageous.
He realized that hungry customers buy less, they leave, and they disrupt the buying journey. And we often say it's tough to do business on empty stomach.
So once again, you're not changing, like there's not much more you can invent, but you're making the experience a part of your business model and a differentiator. And that's a game changer.
Correct. Their values are interesting to me. They have a lot of them. I mean, they have values that go on for days. They have the IKEA vision, the IKEA business idea. The vision is to create a better everyday life for many people. And the business idea is to offer a wide range of well-designed, functional home furnishing products at prices so low that as many people as possible will be able to afford them. Very similar to Sam Walton. So they compared him in the Founders podcast to a Sam Walton, Henry Ford. IKEA is not the work of one person alone. It is a result of many minds and many souls working together through many years of joy and hard work from the founder. And then they have values, and they're all values in action, which I have a lot of time for. Togetherness means nothing if you can't articulate to me what that means.
Yeah.
So they're all values and actions, but I'll just read the word.
Okay.
Togetherness, caring for people and planet, cost consciousness, simplicity. He talks a lot about his book about simple is better.
Yeah.
There's an art to simplicity. Renew and improve, constantly looking at processes. How do we do things today? How can we optimize? How can we do it better? How can we do it quicker?
Yeah.
Let how you tell me how you try to run the bullshit mundane tasks in your life.
Yeah.
Like you're always trying to look for ways to optimize.
Yeah.
Different with a meeting, give and take responsibility and lead by example. The values are aligned. And then they have this entire program called Co-Creating Through Change, and a whole report around partnering in different ways and how would they develop products, and literally from weaving the baskets they have. They call a social entrepreneurship program. It reminds me if you've ever been to like a market in the Bahamas or a market in like not like, or even like Midland, I guess, but they're taking a bunch of local grassroots people and they're using them as part of their sourcing strategy to the point where their only full report that was interesting to me that I read was around those programs.
Interesting.
And literally every company, they call it co-creating change through social entrepreneurship. Their entire positioning is around sustainability.
Okay.
So from the front page of their website, from promoting products that are food composting,
Okay.
to articles about food, water waste, to putting their money where their mouth is in terms of hiring women and
And it's fairly well intertwined to the reality of it. It's not greenwashing.
I don't believe
sense.
it's greenwashing.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't find it on Reddit. They have a buyback program, which is super interesting. I went in, their geo-targeting is amazing.
Buyback of your products?
Correct.
Oh my God.
They'll give you, so I looked up today. So if you go to IKEA.com today, I don't remember filling out anything or accepting any cookies for geo-targeting. But it took me from the very beginning when I hit the buyback button to the 15 or 20 products available in Canton, Michigan today. There's only 2 stores out of the 413 that do not have the program. So you talk about put your money when your mouth is. It's not a pilot in Canton.
Yeah.
400, more than 400 of the 415 have it.
Massively.
Again, their stories, their positioning, how they source. They are positioning as eco-friendly and sustainable, but where they are, what they are selling, from their products to their waste composite storage and air purifiers to their buyback program that's part of their second chance corner. You know, they're doing a good job. How it works, I think, you know, at the end of the day, as I think the story is for me is that they had an incredible founder who probably only wanted to do a book deal. So the Founder podcast I listened to.
I like it, by the way. Founders.
Yeah,
I listen to it a lot, just even for fun.
the founder of IKEA had been offered 1 million book deals, and then it was positioned to him as, from whoever the narrator is, the copywriter, the biographer.
Yeah.
Let me write a book for you so you can articulate to other entrepreneurs on how to be successful. And he said, yes.
Okay, I got it.
And they say that about entrepreneurs. They are very passionate about finding, teaching, and coaching other entrepreneurs. And to me, like, that wasn't the start of the value of the reason of this, but the stories of entrepreneurship, the stories of you have values, you have goals, you have abilities, and you do not strain from them.
Right.
No matter what.
You know them, you hold them deeply.
Deeply. Doesn't mean you don't evolve.
Yeah.
The market's evolving.
So we talked about Starbucks, for example, and Starbucks was founded on some, I think, very strong values as well. I think Costco has not veered so much from their founders' values. We think Starbucks might have. Since the original founder has obviously passed, but even maybe he stepped down from CEO or from his leadership role, do you think that the current leaders have done a good job to carry through that founder values? I think it's like the hardest thing, going from like from the founding values and then handing that off to somebody who, I don't know if it's publicly traded or not, but like, handing that off to then just like somebody who's got to run the business who they must have embodied those values, but like, he's not the founder. It's not his values.
Yeah. So what's super interesting about the founder is from the time he was 17 to the time he was 91, for 43 years, he said, he never wavered from that mission, vision, values, and he literally gave the onboarding speech. So it reminds me of like communications and advertising or social media, or even like your children. Tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them what you told them.
Yeah.
And tell them again and again and again, and it's how ingrained in what you and I have spoken about the values. You think a certain Easter is normal based on what you grew up with.
Yeah.
You think a certain way of raising your children is normal based on the way it was ingrained in your system.
So then
he ingrained that shit. He's literally raised minions who now their ideals, their values.
Yeah, I understand.
There are so yeah. I think the long
promoted internally,
100%. And he's looking for people who truly believe that.
Okay.
Well, he's dead now.
Right.
I think if I look at Scandal, they've gotten in some trouble for cutting trees down in the wrong areas. They've gotten in some trouble for making prisoners make their furniture, which I don't think is a bad fucking idea, but if the government gets involved, it's a bad idea. Listen, here's the fucking deal.
There's a conscious debate there.
If Mama Girl has to go to the fucking loony bin, I have to go to true prison because the loony bin won't accept me, I'm telling you, you're going to want me to work on a sewing machine. You're going to want me to go to work in the factory versus like be part of Orange and the New Black, learn how to make shanks in the corner.
Right, I do.
So like, I do get the ethical part of that, but part of me is like, if you're going to not be a productive member of free society, then make my goddamn furniture, bitch.
Yeah. I do get why it's like, imprisoned laborers, because it sounds like they don't have a choice.
Fuck you.
It sounds like they don't have a choice. But if there's a program that maybe is a choice within prison.
Listen, I'm raising 3 productive humans.
Yeah, they don't have a choice whether or not they have to work. That's fair.
They have no other choice in the world but to fucking get it together.
Fair enough.
So your contribution, if you're a murderer and a rapist and a thief, is to build a couch these monsters can jump on so they don't turn into you.
Okay.
They say that you can buy some shit from IKEA that's going to fall the fuck apart, like the Five Below.
Oh, yeah.
Dollar General.
I do have that impression
generally
a little
bit.
But
generally, that's not the impression. Okay. It's like the same. You're going to buy it from Amazon or IKEA. They get yelled at a little bit because they have a big store footprint. They have an immersive experience. So they set up rooms within their store and they get yelled at because...
I don't have a lot of heartache over that.
I don't either. We have a lot of fucking space. Move, bitch. Get out the way. And even when they like pour concrete over like kind of cool places.
Nobody's mad at Costco for their big footprint.
Fuck you.
Okay.
I'll tell you something about IKEA. I have someone in my life who is able to purchase at various price points, including the top end of the top end of the top end. They have a beautiful home. They spent a lot of money on to keep the integrity of that home.
Sure. They shop at IKEA.
Mm-hmm. And she did her kitchen cabinets at IKEA.
Oh, wow.
And when I got into the comments, when I got into the Reddit, when I got into the comments, they're like, they are an incredible fucking value. Items which some people who can afford anything see the value and quality in and appreciate the savings. I think there are some things that last forever, and I think there's some things that take a shit. For the price of it, people don't actually care. So if you're paying $1,000 for a couch in your basement and your kids jump on it from 0 to 6,
Yeah.
and it crashes in.
Okay, here's the other thing. The couches, my impression also, I don't think I've even seen an IKEA couch, but I think the impression that I have is that because it's made for like Europeans and small spaces, and we are accustomed to like big things in America,
Yeah.
that the couches are really small and like basic things that we might think are normal, but maybe a little bit oversized for European standards. Is that true, or is that just a
No, I think you're
over-exaggeration?
100% right. I think the price point is similar to like what you're going to get at an Amazon, a Dan Dan the Mattress Man, maybe even low point Wayfair. I actually like the aesthetic of IKEA furniture. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
But I like the feeling of the shit Tara has at her cabin where we... You know what I mean? Where it's so puffy around you. It's like a pregnancy pillow. It's a fucking lazy boy.
Yeah.
I'm in the leather recliner in Tara's cabin fit perfectly.
Comfy.
If I had the hottest chair in the whole world and the shit that I could get from Dan Dan,
What do you think about our lazy boy?
I fucking love your couch.
No, the lazy boy. It's not the black leather lazy boy.
No, what?
We battled whether or not we were going to put like a reclining chair in our living room.
Listen. You have not lived your fucking life.
If you haven't had that battle,
If you have not sat in a legit lazy boy, and I don't want the automatic, I want the one.
yeah,
If you ever drove a car where you put it into gear,
stick shift.
you got a stick shift, and it's got a handle right here, and it's like made out of like, think about the fanciest van if you ever sat in, or the fanciest cab with the material.
Yeah,
You have a handle on the lazy boy that's about 14, 16 inches long.
yeah.
You think it's that long?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
12 to 14.
You put that fucker into gear, you go,
and then the gears keep you. yeah. Can you drive a stick?
Absolutely. My dad got me a stick, so I didn't leave the house. I cried. He knew I was never coming back. So he got me a stick, and I made it 1/4 mile down the road and cried and came home. And then I got pissed and went all the way to the mall. First car. I can drive a stick.
Like a
Literally
champ.
better, like a fucking champ. My first car that I drove from 16 to 19 was a stick. But I knew how to drive it before that from plowing snow and driving tractor, which is a little different.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
can
could always
a stick.
drive like a clutch quad and motorcycle.
I got my first accident because I was trying to drive a stick and smoke. I was trying to smoke, have my window down, not smell like smoke, and drive a stick at the same time.
Do you want me to deviate into my really quick stick
would love
telling story?
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Italy, me and my cousin Elena, in 2019,
remember that trip.
and really
We were
excited.
so pissed no one kept time there.
yeah, yes.
You were so pissed
I
nobody
was.
cared about time.
Yeah, very much. Yep. Still kind of gets me a little bit.
Still kind of gets.
It was really expensive to rent an automatic car. So I was like, we don't need an automatic car. We can get a stick. But the problem was neither myself nor Elena knew how to drive a stick car. But I knew the concept. I had motorcycles and quads, like clutch. I know how that works. I got this. It just is like the finesse in it, and I needed some practice. My dad has a Mustang stick. So we went for like a 5-hour drive one day all around everywhere, like back roads and shit. Went to a couple bars, you know, what we do.
What we do.
Stalled it in intersections a couple of times.
Fuck you. My dad go the fuck around. She's learning.
Yeah,
She's learning. Go around.
He didn't even bother. He was just like, relax, it's fine. They can wait.
Oh, my dad
They
would
can wait.
literally Papa would get out of the car and try to stomp a bitch if they beeped at his daughter.
So the
So
town that we went into is called Castello del Mare or something like that in Sicily, and it is a like a port town, and it's kind of on like the whole town is like a bowl, big hill down to the very bottom. And here we are driving like a Fiat Panda, not a Mustang, which is what I learned on. And we're like humming along.
You learned on high fucking octane. We saw them rev up. Heather was telling me about riding a crotch rocket. I was like, what?
So here we are trying to chug along to leave town. And
chug along, literally, in your Fiat.
So the population in the summertime, which is where we're at peak, it grows like 150% more people than what it does in the standard whatever season. So traffic's busy. And when you stop in a clutch, you have to have the brake on one, or your foot is on the brake, and then like you have to have your other foot on the clutch to do the gas, but you need to be on the brake because otherwise we're rolling downhill. Like the hill was so steep. Like I did not have any practice.
I'm ready to do it right now.
I'm ready to do it too.
It's my favorite.
I can do it now that I know what I'm doing.
That's all you do. You just hold that bitch back and
you can't. The Fiat didn't have enough power to do anything like that. I couldn't. I just kept stalling it out, and every time I'm going back another couple of inches. I have miles of cars behind me now, honking of Italians, beep, yelling at me.
Smoking their cigs. You're interrupting fucking wine hour, bitch.
I'm physically shaking at this point, like completely freaked out.
Like dentist level?
Like my legs, I looked down and my legs were just like absolutely shaking. Yeah, like freaking the fuck out. And Alina's panicking in the passenger seat, but has zero ability to help. And a guy runs up, doesn't speak much English, but he's like trying to explain. And he's like, "Can you get out? I'll help. And I'm like, okay. So
you just get out of your car? Let me tell you about the one time I got pulled over and I got out of the car with a police officer. I'm so lucky
I have to tell you the solution because this is mind blowing. Everybody needs to know this. You have to use the e-brake. So you're like fluttering the e-brake while you're doing gas and clutch.
Because you have to grab traction.
Yeah, but there was no way. Like here, we use the foot brake. You don't use the e-brake while you're...
Use the e-brake when you're...
Yeah, this was like, you had to use the e-brake as a part of your regular navigation. Just stopping at a stop sign, a four-way stop on a hill, and the hill's so steep.
You needed to have a third arm grown out of your asshole to drive that car.
So he pulled over. Yeah, basically. So he pulled over, like got me through, let cars through. I calmed down. He's like... in Italian and a little bit of English, like mixing all of this together, telling me I need to use the e-brake. So I practiced a little bit in the parking spot, and then we carried on with our day. But that was a huge life moment.
It's a moment, lady.
No regrets.
What was Elena doing?
Freaking the fuck out, sitting there. She rode in the car with the stranger while I like hopped out of the car, and he pulled us over to the edge to teach me.
What?
She was just like, I don't know, nothing we could do. Anyways,
I feel like there's a lot more story to tell with IKEA. I think at the end of the day, we're clinking. If this truly is if there's a business audience who wants to have a further nerdier dialogue around the founder, their positioning, sustainability, putting their money where their mouth is, from how they source their products to how they position their products to how they discount their products, I think they're doing a good job living their values, which I can align to today.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to leave the team with this type of wisdom. I was thinking a little bit about this week about a jet. And I wanted to revert back to Beth Dutton.
Okay.
And I don't really get on the popular TV show train. There's been a couple I've got, and I still haven't watched the final episode of Yellowstone or even the final season.
Sure.
I just know that I have appreciated it up until the point I got sidetracked by a new project. And I will circle at some point. But she told a kiddo.
Yeah. Like the adopted son kind of dude. I forgot his name.
There's 4 ways you can get rich. You can inherit it.
And he's not going to be able to inherit it because that's just ain't happening for him, she said.
No. You can inherit it. Or you can steal it.
She said he's not smart enough.
But quite frankly, you don't have the intellect. Or you can work really fucking hard. And he says to her, what's the 4th? And she said, learn to suck a dick like your life depends on it.
And he said, is that how you got rich?
Is that how you got rich?
That was a good one. A lot of lessons and a good laugh.
So one of our values is working really hard. And I think at the soul of IKEA, they want to work really hard. And at the soul of who we are, we actually get a lot of gratification out of hard work. So to that, I clink.
I love that. What a great message. Let's clink. Thank you for listening to Stirred Up. If you like what you heard, please subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on your podcast apps. Please send it to a friend. Leave a comment. Add a rating. Every little bit helps. We look forward to seeing you next week.